Nelly Sääksjärvi.
Yes, good. Very well done. Good job.
Yes,
Good job.
Tried. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Nelly is a
project coordinator at Redlynx. Oh, actually, my last day was last Friday, so I'm not there anymore.
You're an ex-project coordinator.
Ex-project coordinator.
You're not even coordinating anymore. No project.
This week, I'm nothing.
Okay.
I'm just like
relax. You're yourself.
Like, so nice.
I would say you're very relaxed when you don't have to worry about it now.
Yes.
Yes.
I know.
For you, Redlynx, Ubisoft.
Yes. So Redlynx is a Ubisoft. Redlynx, a Ubisoft company. I guess it's the official name. But yeah.
And I know they're known for the biggest thing I know is Trials HD, so, which I played the hell out of when I was young little baby. No, years ago.
It's a really cool game.
Yeah, it is. It's very addictive, actually.
Yeah, when you play with your friends, I mean, I get just, you start swearing and screaming at each other because you keep failing, but it's really cool. I like it.
So let's explain how the interview goes. I don't know if you know, but basically what we do is we ask only one question in this interview, and then we build off of it. And it can go in any direction from there. So it's very informal, just kind of relaxed, and we're just getting to know you.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So we ask, how are games part of your life? And then you can start from I was born to, in the distant future when humans are, conquered by aliens. So you can go all the way from the beginning of your life to the future. Talking. So how are games part of your life?
Wow, that's a broad question, but a really good question. Really wow.
Yes.
Okay. How are games? Well, they have always been a part of my, when did I start playing? I can't remember. But we had a Nintendo at home. It was my brother's. So I think it's a lot thanks to my brother because I have two older sisters.
Yeah.
They don't play anything. Well, Candy Crush, but later on. Yeah. But of course, when my brother he was playing a lot. He had also PC games and stuff. But I loved the Nintendo. So all the Marios and then Simpsons games, Tiny Toons. I loved those, and I think it started from there. Yeah. And I don't know. I have no idea how old I was. I have no idea.
I remember. What was the first game? Do you remember what it was?
Maybe Mario. Maybe like
I'm trying to think.
Well, I mean the first one, 1, 2, and 3. We had those.
Yeah.
I like 3 because I think there you could fly.
Yeah, you could.
And in the second one, you could be the princess. I was like, you were like she was flying.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
That was her power.
It was. Yeah, they had the powers.
Yeah. So, but I remember. I think. Well, I mean, I was before Nintendo. I'm a little older, but I remember. I think my first Nintendo game was also Mario Brothers that came with it, and I was so horrible that I would die from the first. What was it, a Koopa or something? Like I would just press to the right, but I wouldn't know to jump, and then my cousins would have to press the button to get me over it, and then I would die on the next thing. But it was like a really big deal for me just being able to control this little character on the screen. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And also DuckTales.
DuckTales.
It was awesome.
Oh my god, that's an amazing game.
I love that one, and that actually played it many times through. Like I think Mario, I wasn't that good.
Yeah, but DuckTales was an amazing game.
And the music was so good. The moon theme.
Yeah, they did a remake. I
played that too.
Did you play the remake? So what did you think of that?
I think it's quite good actually.
Okay.
I mean, of course the original one was cooler, and then they added some stuff to the new one, and I was like, okay, I'll play this. It's fine. But I didn't play it again. Like I played it once, and it was kind of like, okay, I wanna look at it again and see
what it's like.
Yeah, and the music, it was cool, but I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
That was my thoughts.
Do you feel like it's like a nostalgia, maybe more?
Yeah.
You like the first one even.
Yeah, definitely. It's like with the Pokemon Go. Like now, I'm like, oh, all these old ones, like, because I have no idea about the new ones.
I have no idea.
They're like, I don't know, how many 500?
I don't even know.
I don't know. And now when they came with the Go, and you know, I see the old ones, and I'm like, I know the names. I know how they evolve.
Only very old ones. I have kids ask. My friend has a 8-year-old son, and he asked me like, do you know this one? And I'm like, I have no idea who that is. I thought you knew Pokemon. I'm like, yeah, dude. Very beginning, you know, that's it. So now it's changed so much. Yeah.
I know.
So what did you do after that? So after your NES encounters, what did you do from there? What happened?
After
Nintendo, you had the experience,
yes.
And then what did you do?
So I think then Pokemon came.
Okay.
And that was like the big thing for me, because then
Game Boy?
Yes, because then I got my own Game Boy, like my own some kind of console or something, because it was always like my brother's stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is his stuff, and you know, he kind of handled that.
Yeah.
But now I got like, this is my part, and now I started like my kind of game history.
Okay.
And it was Pokemon Yellow was the first one.
Okay.
And actually, so my brother got home this Nintendo magazine or something like this.
I remember Nintendo Power. Was it Nintendo Power?
I don't know.
Because that was the big magazine at the time. Like I grew up, I had every issue of Nintendo. That was like if you were a Nintendo person, and you got a Nintendo magazine, that was it was the officially licensed magazine of Nintendo.
Maybe it was that one. I have to check. I don't know. I might still have it left. It was really important because they had a huge article about Pokemon, and especially Yellow, because it was just out. Yeah. And then some kind of, it just hit me. I'm like, I have to have this one. And they were like, Mom, because I didn't have any money. I mean, I was tiny, and then I don't know. I just somehow convinced them like I need this right now.
I need this now. I'm gonna hold my breath. Yeah.
It was summer. We were at the summer cottage. I was so bored. Yeah. Maybe I was complaining so much. They were like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Shut up, kid. Here you go. Go get your whatever it is. Yeah.
So I got it, and then it was like, oh my, I was so hooked. That was awesome. So then I got really interested into Nintendo, like all the games, and then I got the GameCube. Yeah. That was really cool with Zelda and Star Fox Adventures, and also I also played one of the Tales of Symphonia, I guess it's called.
Yeah, role-playing game.
Yeah. I like that. That was really cool, and some other ones that are not so famous. I can't remember even.
Did you ever play Beautiful Joe?
No, but I know about it.
Oh my God, I love that game on GameCube. It's so good. You're just this little superhero, but he's like this over-the-top kind of comic book superhero that gets sucked into a movie. Yeah. But it's so awesome. His powers, like he can slow time down. But the cool thing is when you use his superpower, he has to look cool. So he can't just dodge a bullet. He has to dodge it in the most like, you know, elegant way, like yes, and a bullet passes here.
Just dodging.
It's so exactly, just dodging, but he has to strike a pose. It's so cool. I really like that game.
I didn't play that, man. I mostly played like Nintendo stuff. I was a huge Nintendo fan. All the cutesy Japanese, like Japan. Then
back then, they were. I would say, well, I don't want to say Nintendo lost its touch, but I would say back then it was something else.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see now when Switch comes.
Let's see.
I'm kind of interested.
I'm a little excited now.
If it really works, how they showed it in the trailer.
I'm really excited.
Like,
I would. No, it gets personal. No, it's personal. But I was kind of, my relationship with Nintendo has been kind of like up and down. It's been like NES, amazing. Super Nintendo for me was amazing. 64 was kind of like, I wasn't too happy with it. GameCube was like going a little better.
Yeah.
And the same with the Game Boys were okay.
Yeah.
They're still fine. Yeah, they're still fine. You didn't
good.
Screw that up.
No.
Yeah. But then kind of this, and then the Nintendo Wii I actually thought was amazing because that was the first system that I ever noticed that brought generations of people together. I've had like old uncles playing with like really young kids, so I thought that was awesome. Then the Wii kind of. The Wii U was kind of... So now I'm very excited for... Let's see what happens with this.
At least they try to do something different.
They always are doing that. That's what's great.
Because yeah, I had the Wii, and then it kind of like ended there. Like I'm like, I got the Zelda, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a cool game. I mean, I love it. But then the other ones, yes, good shirt, nice T-shirt.
I'm happy I wore it today.
Yes. Me too.
Yes.
But yeah, after that, I didn't really buy much games for that. But now I'm kind of like, now are the new Pokemon games are coming. I'm like, should I jump back in there? I don't know. Because after, I think Sapphire was the last one I played. And then I know it's like, oh, I don't know, like, no.
Yeah, it's the same, maybe not. Have I grown out of this?
Yeah, I don't know,
But the Switch is interesting for me, just
really cool.
that portable. I had a feeling that was what they were going to do next. Because it only made sense. That doesn't mean Nintendo does what makes sense. But that was a nice evolution. Just like, hey, we got the portable thing down. Yes. We got this. We got these strong IPs. Let's put them together. But let's see. I don't know what will happen. Will it cut into their Game Boy sales? Are they going to cut away Game Boy? What's going to happen?
Can they like live next to each other? Like
maybe it's a pricing thing they're going to have to work out. I don't know. But so after that, what's happened?
After that, so during this whole time, like cartoons, animations, and games, they have been like my three holy things I always like do something with. They have been my hobbies, and then later on work as well. So I think because I was drawing comics. So comics was really important for me.
Okay, cool.
So like characters and stories in whatever form, like film, games, animation, it has been really important. That's why Nintendo, I'm like, I really like the characters. They're so cool. Yeah. And so, but of course at that point I'm like, so how, well, I need to do something when I grow up. Like, how could I, like, I didn't know, no one knew, like, and my parents were like, she's good at drawing, but you should, get a real job. Or
no one will marry you. You will die alone and be homeless and poor. Yeah, that's what I was told when I wanted to do art. My parents, no one will marry you. You will die alone.
They didn't get it at all, and they no support. So I have to like figure it out on my own, and I checked like what did the other like artists do. So I was I was an artist at that time. So that's how everything started. Like. Art and drawing. So then I was like, okay, there's this 3D animation thing. I had no idea what that was, but in the assignments, because I checked the assignments, okay, so I need to, it was Metropolia.
That's a school here.
That's a school here.
In Finland. Yes.
Where they teach 3D and other stuff. Like it was the culture line or something like that. Art.
It's an applied sciences school, I think.
Yes, it is. It's. And so yeah, in the assignments you had to do characters. I was like, this sounds fun, I could do this. And then and it's like you have to do in different panels. I'm like, that's a comic, I can do that. Yeah, so I did that. So even though I didn't know like what the education would actually bring me in the end, but it was like, at least I can use what I can do now to do something, and then kind of figure it out. So I started that. And then during those years in school, I realized, or we got to know that, okay, so you can actually be an animator or do 3D, and people do this for a living. And we were like, oh, cool. And then the gaming industry started to, like, the mobile gaming really hit it here. We were really lucky in that way, because, I mean, suddenly people actually needed people with our skills. Yeah. I think Finland's we're very lucky to be here. It's a unique place to live with all the way the gaming industry is here. Crazy to a tiny country as this, with not many people. I don't know, like
5.5 million. Something like this.
Growing.
We're growing one person every day. But the gaming industry is very strong here, surprisingly.
It's really strong. The mobile is crazy.
Very.
Also, console is getting stronger, but mobile has just
of course. We're probably, if not the #1 mobile. I don't know if Björn. There was that one article that was in at work. Remember, on the wall? I took a picture of it, but we're up there with mobile because of Supercell and Supercell Rovio.
What else?
Well, I'll say Supercell and Rovio.
Those are the two ones.
I know there's other ones, but those were the two big ones.
Big ones, definitely. Yeah.
So, what was the first place you worked?
So it was actually Anima Vitae.
Okay.
Like I worked as an animator there for a TV series called Pasila.
Okay, Pasila.
It was quite popular here at that time. Like, but when I jumped in, we were maybe in like 3rd or 4th season.
Okay.
And people were kind of like, you know, they were reciting what the characters said. Like,
okay.
So it's kind of this. I used to say that it's kind of like the Finnish South Park.
Okay.
Because they, you know, they swear and do stupid stuff.
Yeah,
and it's a bit ugly, but you know, people like that.
Is the visual style similar, or how?
It's really simple.
Yeah.
It's not that. How to explain?
We could always show some too.
Yeah. Can you Google Pasila?
Mr.
Yes, thumbs up.
Yeah,
cool.
he will Google.
He'll
and
do the
find
job
some.
for us.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun though. I mean, I did that for. I started there as an intern.
Okay.
Because they did a lot of collaboration with Metropolia.
Okay.
It was quite cool. So I got there and then I told them, I like this. I could, you know, if you need someone. And they were like, okay, we hire you. And then like, phew, I got to continue there.
Yeah.
I really liked that. But then I noticed because as an animator or as an artist, you really have to focus on this one thing.
Yeah.
And this one thing only. And you shouldn't like bother with other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, when I saw like the producers and all these going to meetings, like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
And then I noticed that I got much more interested in like the whole process of a production.
Yeah.
And not just this one point. And I was like, I needed to decide, do I want to continue as an artist or go into production?
Yeah.
And I told them, you know, I'm really interested in production. They tried to figure things out, but at that moment, I think at the series we had done like 5 or 6 seasons. It was kind of like ending.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I think this is not. I need to find something else.
Yeah.
And what did I do? Oh, I went to study, to Media Lab.
Yes.
Because then, of course, after Metropolia, I was like, oh, it was a cool place, but you know, I still want to continue on to go deeper.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there we learned, you know, we got skills. We learned how to do animation and stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't like thought like, why are we doing this? And how about, you know,
where does it all connect? And how do things work?
Yeah, exactly. And like that was missing. We didn't think about the why and so on.
Yeah.
And then so then Media Lab. I don't know how I found out about Media Lab. I think I just. Oh no, actually a teacher from Metropolia. He was like, yeah, there's this one option. Because I asked already at that point, where can I do a master's somewhere? And he knew about Media Lab.
Yeah.
And that was the best decision ever to go there.
It's a great place. By the way, Media Lab is well, it's the Media Lab, and well, it's Aalto University. Yeah, it's an Aalto, one of the universities. Well, it was Taik.
Yeah.
Then maybe still for
art
some people. It's like an art university here in Finland, and well, then what happened was several schools got together, and now it's Aalto University, combining the electronics. Not electronics.
Electronics?
Economics.
Economics?
Yes, economics, the kind of engineering school, and the design school.
With art and I mean,
everything's thrown together now.
Yeah.
And Media Lab is by far, in my opinion, the craziest of all of them, because it's like taking art and technology, and it just takes all this stuff and it's like, here you go. Yeah, that's what happens. So. When did you go there?
When did I go?
Remember?
Oh man,
Because I think I started in 2010, and at the end of 2010, and I think I finished. When did we finish? 2014. Yeah, so 4 years later. It took us 4 years to finish it, but
that's fine. That's normal.
Yeah. I know some people it's 16 and they still haven't finished it. So.
Okay, that's too much. Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
But
I think it was after.
Yeah, I came after.
Because I was like almost on my way out as the first time I met you, I think.
Just trying to think. Well, yeah, 2010. I went to abroad as well. I went to Japan for exchange when I was in Metropolia. Just 4 months, but still, it was
great
quite
experience.
Cool. Yes, it was like you know, because I have always been a huge fan. I like the music and art and all that, you know, and so it was cool to go there.
Okay. And was this part of the normal, that was through Metropolia, not like, because what they have here in Finland is they have this, how would I say it, like a exchange years, you can have an exchange year in another country too. if you wanted.
To work as well? Or
well, no, school? Just to go through school.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have that. You can also have it like high school even. Like,
yeah, in high school as well.
It's quite early. I mean, some people went to the States and was like, I'm too scared. I was, in high school I wasn't like brave.
You were too scared to go to America.
Yes.
I would be scared to go to America as well, right now actually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so.
No, but I went there and that was 2010, so I'm just trying to like count like when I came to Media Lab. I can't remember at all.
Well, I started in 2010, and I'm wondering if you might have come soon after.
Yeah, maybe just 1 year and a half.
Maybe a year later. Yeah.
4 years later. So yeah.
Oh, that's
I did it in 3 years though.
You beat me. Very good. Very good. Yes.
No, but I could.
But I got stuck in digital chocolate. Actually, my first year, I finished all my classes in the first year. Everything was done. Everything was done.
That's too much.
Yeah, I killed myself, and that I'm still alive.
Why did you do that?
But then the thesis. What had happened was one of my friends on the project that I was working on, a game project course. We worked together on that project, and then he was working in Digital Chocolate, which is like a company that made tower blocks. They're very famous for that one. I would say maybe in the US they might have heard of tower blocks at least. And then he's like, hey, there is a community position there. Why don't I know you want to do design, but you can get your foot in the door. So I got my foot in the door there, and then after 6 months I got a design position.
Okay,
but I was working now, like, so that was done, and I was like, time for thesis, and now it's like working full time now. And then I got a teaching job. I got offered in another arts academy, so then I was doing that. So it's like it just took longer.
No time
and longer.
for thesis.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. You were doing something. At least you do something. Yeah. I think it's fine.
It was exciting, and I got a job in the industry, and I haven't finished my degree yet. So
Oh, you're not finished yet?
No, I'm finished. We're done. We finished. But at that time, it was like, hey, I've only gone to school 1 year, and now I'm in the industry.
That's great.
And I think that's an excellent thing that in Finland I've also noticed. You just said from Metropolia is that they try to do their best to kind of get you into the working, get connections, get internships, introduce you so that you can actually go and do something, not just now I have a degree after 4 years or something and I don't have a job. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. You should like during your studies definitely like try to get your footing somewhere.
Exactly.
And go to the events, like start working. You get your degree done like. Eventually. You get it done. Done. It's not that hard. So
But if you live in the U.S., get your degree done immediately because you're going to be in financial debt for the rest of your life.
That's a good point. Yeah. We don't have that here.
Yeah, that's not here. I just paid. I think 4 or 5 years ago, I just paid my last student. My mom paid my last student loan for me. So it takes forever.
Crazy.
Yeah. It sucks. Too bad. Moved to Finland. You're not allowed here. Yeah. So. But yeah. So what did you do your thesis on? Because I think that's very interesting.
So I tried to remember the title. How artists find employment in the Finnish game industry. That was really interesting to do. Yeah. And that's also something that I have been interested in a long time. Like how, as we talk about how people find their jobs. Because I see so many talented people. That's something, when I was studying in Metropolia, they were so talented. And then, they had horrible issues with finding work. And then maybe some had this mindset that I do school first and then I go to the working life. Even though you should kind of mix those two all the time. Exactly. So I did some interviews, which was really cool. Some of them I knew by myself, and some I just contacted through some friends. The results were really that you have to have a connection. It's a super small country, and if someone doesn't know you, it's kind of weird because it's like where do you come from then? Exactly. Like, don't you hang out with the IGDA people at events? Exactly. And
don't upset anybody either because it's a small
That's also one thing, because in some in Finland, we, as we talked before, we mind our own business. We don't want to show our emotions too much, so we kind of friendly with everyone. Yeah. But if you come from somewhere else where you're more straightforward,
like
with your feedback, yes.
Hello. Let me come in here. Yes.
And then people might have like, oh, he's rude or he's like that.
Exactly.
Oh, we don't like him. And then like, and then it goes like,
exactly.
Everybody knows suddenly. So that's like the.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah, and I don't really like that. I feel like it's the bubble. We have this small game industry bubble here, but it gets bigger all the time.
Yeah. That's basically what Björn and I are trying to do, is bring this, expand it, maybe pop it a little.
Exactly,
I don't know.
yeah, pop it. Don't have the same people like.
Yeah, exactly. But it is growing because I mean,
it is.
when we go to unfortunately our show is on IGDA nights now sometimes, but sometimes we go there and it's, I mean, brand new. I haven't seen any of these people. I'm like, I don't know anyone here. Exactly. I used to know like, oh yeah, I know like
it was really 75%. Tiny before.
Yeah, now it's like I know none of these people, so I'm like an outsider.
There's like many hundreds. Like, where did they come from? Exactly. And you're like, oh.
The summer party was like 700-800 people. It was some crazy number, like record numbers.
It's like a record, and I think it's because Supercell was hosting that. So of course they're like nice. But then it's a summer party. It's a bit different. It's not the usual gathering.
Yeah. But you have a couple hundred people that end up showing up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really important event, and I think after the States, the IGDA here is like the biggest one, the second biggest one.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
Sweden doesn't have one.
Oh wow, yes.
Ooh, I heard this. Yeah, so we're actually trying to get them to create one there, like to form.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be fun. I mean, we could do, I don't know, party boat trips.
That would be awesome.
Maybe some hackathons. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So I was working for IGDA before. If you wonder why I said we at some point.
We. Your royalty, actually. You speak that way. Yes. We are not amused.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was organizing events, and that was really cool too.
Yeah.
Don't have time for that anymore.
But that I would say was some great advice that you said, that it's a lot of people don't know that it's like a traditional mentality of you finish school, then you find a job, then you get married, then you have kids, then you die, whatever happens.
You have this plan.
You have to go. But instead it's more like you should be networking. Like the best time, even in the US, while you're there, network, because you might be with Mark Zuckerberg sitting next to you, and you don't even know like who the guy is, and then you become really good friends with them, and then they end up giving you a job. Just like me, I ended up getting a job because of a friend. So it's very important to network.
It is, and then because many of the open positions, they don't announce them like on their websites, like, ooh, we're looking for a programmer. It's like, do you know anyone? And they're like, then they check out, okay, I'll check some of my friends, or put in these Facebook groups, all the Facebook groups. I mean, they first come there usually.
Exactly. Usually
after people have been asking, then they come there and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And when I will say one, which this prevents me from ever working in the industry again, I would say that in Finland at least, it's like sending an application or email to a company here is like throwing it into a black hole, because it's like, I sent out 100 things and I got 0 replies. Or you get a reply like 2 years later, like, oh, we can't take you now. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so it's kind of, so it's very hard here to know, like, the one thing I kind of wish we would get more here is that we would get some type of feedback. So when we submit, they can say like, hey, sorry we took somebody else. We feel like you needed more experience, or you needed that. Like, give me something concrete to work on. Like, your portfolio wasn't strong enough, or something, so I know what was the reason why I didn't get the job. Not just silence and I have no idea. Do you not like me? Did you even get the email? Is it under a stack? Did you throw it away? So this unknown thing is really hard because you don't get that. So
they don't say like straightly what was wrong with you. Like,
exactly, and I would love that. I would rather know like, oh, we don't like you, you're ugly, and I'm like, okay, I'm ugly. At least I know the reason.
Exactly.
So
I don't think they might not have time for that. That's one thing.
It's true.
But then, of course, they could think like, okay, should they also like help the whole community here?
They could.
It's part of.
But even they reply and just say, yes, we got it. No, we didn't hire you. Yeah, just something so you know that.
But that's just bad. I think they should at least say something.
And
react.
and I haven't. I've applied to, not now, throughout my time. I apply, and very rarely. I think the only place that ever contacted me back was Rovio, and that was 2 months later after I took another job working for him. So it was like a little, but they still call back.
Yeah.
And then they apologize too, like, oh, that sucks. Sorry, we took so long. Yeah. Maybe next time, you know. So. Yeah. But it's cool that they at least replied. Yes. Like I've had other places. But you do find a job. Like all my jobs I found haven't been that way. All of them been through one person. Oh, this company's going here. Oh, I know somebody. Oh, okay. Here's a new position. So I was just moving through my network. Yeah. Now when I think about it, it's maybe the first, like the internship. It was through school, so it was already like some kind of connection. They're like, okay, she's studying here. We know that they have good stuff. Yeah. And then we could like. That there was already something there. You have a path. Yeah. And then it's something, you have to start with something. Yeah. And then you have that, and then you can build up on that as well. Do you mind if we share is your thesis in English, right? Yes. Do you mind that we share that with everybody? No, please share. Okay. It's good. Maybe we can get the link from you. Yes. And then, I'm sure Björn can track it down off the internet. Yes. And we'll share that too, because I think that's very useful. I remember that's when I saw you 5 years ago and asked you, do you want to do an interview one day 10 years from now? I knew that you were doing something like that, and I thought it would be very excellent, like learning, very useful for people. So. It was really interesting, and also the artists that I interviewed, they were like, oh, it's so nice that someone is like actually asking and like thinking about this, and trying to put something out there. Yeah. Because there's no information really. You're kind of on your own, or then of course you can ask. Yeah. But no one like helps you. I mean, of course, at school you do stuff and you can collect your portfolio and you have something. Yeah. But then how to kind of like sell that to companies? Exactly. Yeah. And really for Finnish people, it can really hard to be. It's hard to market yourself. Look at me. Look at my stuff. Yeah. And I've had to force people. I've actually helped my friends get jobs just by being like, hire now. Yes. Just really push, and then they get a job. Exactly. And it's so easy because, and I see, like, I've seen some amazing portfolios, and I'm just like, all right, why don't you have a job yet? Well, I don't know if it's this, and I'm like, no, let's go get you a job. Yeah. And what do you feel about LinkedIn? What's your opinion on that? I like it. Okay. But I don't know. I like it. Because there's something interesting about it. A lot of the people that I've talked to, and this is just my own experience and theories I've developed, is that a lot of the people that I talked to that haven't found jobs didn't have LinkedIns. It was very interesting. And the reason I think it is two things. One, every person I've talked to, and then I would go and try to help them find a job because I had some connections. Good. Every time the connections would be, they would ask me, sure, send me their LinkedIn. And I'd be like, I don't have it, they don't have it. And then when you start building it, it's like, oh yeah, I worked, it's like this long. So, and then the other thing I've noticed is, before my interviews, maybe I'm giving it away and now they know, but before my interviews, sometimes I would actually know who's interviewing me because suddenly LinkedIn would show you who was looking at your profile. They do check that. Yeah. And so they're like, who is this guy? Okay, all right. And then they come in. So you can do the same thing. Like I think, of course, if you watch my profile, I watch yours, and then I know about the HR. Like, okay, so she's like this. Exactly. There's a way around that, but I won't say it. But it's a very interesting thing that I've noticed, that it's kind of, of course, from an artist's perspective, I would say like, you should have your own website and you should have a portfolio there and so on and so forth. But I always noticed that this LinkedIn part was something that wasn't there. It's expected nowadays. Yeah, and I feel like it's like, okay, I'm an artist. I have really great work, but am I tied into something that is a huge network that other people might see? Because I'm like, oh, there's so-and-so. Oh, here's similar people. Oh, there's their website from there. But it's not like, okay, I'm a random artist on the internet now. And then someone's like, okay, a random artist. Like, let me just put in a name and search for you on Google and hope I find you. And exactly. So I don't know. That's kind of my one thing I've noticed.
I think, I mean, you should have, it doesn't take much to do a LinkedIn. If you don't have one, it's like, so are you just lazy or what's going on?
Yeah.
Like you should be as easily, like you should make it as easy as possible for the
discover
companies.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, some people go and just check like what they find on LinkedIn, and then headhunters might come and some of my friends, they have been contacted through that. Then actually one guy, it was quite amazing. He got a job from Japan, from Kyoto.
Wow!
And he was during that time. He was because he had a girlfriend in Kyoto, and he was just visiting her. Just, you know, and then suddenly the company was like, "Hey, do you want to have a Skype call? We noticed your profile and blah 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 blah." And he's like, "I'm here. I could just come to your office right now."
Yeah, that's
and he got the job, and it was through LinkedIn. If it wouldn't have been, I don't know.
Yeah, I've gotten job offers like very crazy places. I've had people contact us like I had some what would you call them, like basically big investors get in touch and say, hey, we're trying to do this company, can you give us some advice? And then they'd meet me in Finland. We're here in Helsinki. Can you sit down? Let's just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all through LinkedIn. I did absolutely no work other than creating my profile and keeping it up to date.
Yeah.
I did absolutely no work, and I was getting all these offers and opportunities. So it's kind of, if you were to recommend for an artist that was starting, that wanted to get into the games industry, just starting, what would you say would be one of the most important, or what are some important things that they should do you think?
Well, you should have a portfolio, of course. That's obvious, but even though it's really obvious, when I was studying at Metropolia, like people, again, they were like, okay, I'll do my studies, and then after I graduate, then I start looking for work, and then I build my portfolio. But you should do it like all the time. Whenever you have one piece of work, you should right away have a website or blog or something. It's super easy to make one. There's no excuse to not have one, because there's like so many different you can have, and you don't need to have like a super fancy one. They just want to see your work. So have that, but then you need to, you know, bring it forward. You need to go to events or just send an application. And even though they don't, you know, take you for an interview or anything, at least you're kind of making some noise.
Exactly.
And maybe there's a really good Facebook group called Finkonauts. There's a lot of Finnish artists like all over, and they just want to, you know, they just said that, okay, just put your art here and we review it and go through it and give feedback to each other.
That's great.
It's really open. And then always when someone is looking for an artist, I'm like, hey, there's this group with like everyone, and there's like, I don't know how many, like 2,000 or something.
What was
like
it called? Finkonauts?
Finkonauts.
Wow. We have to, well, we don't have too many Finnish people maybe, but it would be good you share it with us. We can share it anyway, who knows.
It's like a community.
That sounds cool.
And then I think they also want to encourage, like, put your art, like, do
it's very
work
important.
in progress stuff. We don't mind, like, it's nobody's judging.
Exactly. I think that's an excellent thing, getting, well, I would say as an artist, you kind of get, you don't want to share something because it's so close to you, and you're worried about the feel. It's very personal. But at the same time, it's kind of like the sooner you get it in front of people's eyes, and if you're able to take criticism and give criticism. I know when I was in art school, it was one thing that I was taught was, say one good thing, like basically that was the pattern. Say something that you really like about this piece of art, and then say something that they could work on. And then that was it. It wasn't like, say something bad that you hate. It was like, oh yeah, I really like the colors or whatever, the light, the way the light is. And say like, oh, you could work on your, you know, whatever, proportions or something. Like, maybe the proportions, you could check them out. And then that was it.
Exactly.
And it was excellent because I'm like, okay, I need to work on my proportions. So just having that is excellent. And then being able to take criticism was very
that's
important.
something, you know, every artist have to learn at some point to do that. And
and the sooner you get started doing this and putting it out, the easier it is.
It is. And then they always think like, oh, because also at the interviews and otherwise when I have been always asking people like, well, have you sent it somewhere? Well, if they don't like it, then they remember and they think like I'm really super bad and they will never hire me. But I mean, if if you send something to Supercell, they won't remember you if they don't like you. Like, and
because you're a loser, they won't remember you.
So it doesn't like you don't have to be scared of like spamming them or something like this. It's I think it's maybe a Finnish thing too. Like
maybe, but I also think what's good is that let's say if you did give them stuff and then a year later you give them something else. And they compare and they notice that you've grown over that time.
Yes, and I have seen this actually. When I was at Anima, Vitae, so one guy they weren't looking for anyone, but he was like, I want to work at you guys, and then he sent I have been doing this stuff, and they were like, yeah, but there's still like I think they actually gave him some feedback.
Okay, that's
and then
great.
he worked on that. Yeah. And sent them again, and he's like, okay, so I did this as you mentioned, and now this is better, So he kind of
worked his way in.
He improved during, like, it was a long process, and then they were like, well, at least his attitude is right, and he really wants to learn, and like he let's take him.
Yeah, well, that's excellent.
So that's
and I
really
think that's
great.
good.
Yes, yes, and he was like working together. With them,
that's great.
I think that was great.
So we have a couple questions. Does Nelly currently or have plans to stream on Twitch? That's very interesting. Maybe we can just ask them in order. So just the first one.
I have her. I don't know. I haven't thought about.
Now's your chance. Her first episode.
You know, I'm really a huge fan of YouTubers, and I have been looking at some Twitch channels as well. But I don't really know what I would do about. Like, you know, you need some theme, or should I just start and do whatever?
Just start and do whatever. Isn't that what we did? We just started and did whatever. And just,
cool.
Yeah, eventually people are like, these guys are weird, that's interesting, and then they just watch.
I watched them.
So, yeah, don't, just start. Don't make excuses.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you have enough.
It'll be fun. I need a partner, I guess. So, you know, someone to do it together with. I think that would be fun. I don't know.
You could.
Is it easier?
There's not too much. No, actually, it's more difficult.
Would you do it alone?
No, I couldn't do it alone.
There you go.
No, but Björn could do it alone. I would say. Yeah, it depends on the person, but the majority of people are doing it alone.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
But what you can do is that eventually, what they do is they have stream teams, though. So what'll happen is you become friends with other streamers.
Yeah.
And then you make a team, and then you basically are friends with them, and you're kind of communicating and helping each other, and like when your stream ends, you're hosting their stream or sending your viewers to go and view their stream. So it's kind of becomes like a family in a sense. So that in that way, it's
sounds so nice.
Yeah,
oh my
it's
god,
nice.
Maybe I should.
And I would say one thing, not against YouTube, but one thing I do like about live streaming or doing Twitch is that it's just you hit the record button and you just be yourself.
Yeah, you don't
and you just
have to
do
edit or anything.
You don't cut, you don't edit. Of course, you don't want to pick your nose and whatever, or maybe you do. Who knows? And as long as you stay within the rules, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less stress. You just do your thing and then you stop and then you stop doing your thing. Versus like YouTube, it's like, I have to do cutting and editing and here and I have to post and so that's the one thing that I would say that if you're trying to get into getting out there, this is a lot easier versus that.
Okay, maybe I should. Okay, we can take next one. What was the work environment like at Rovio?
Be careful, small it was excellent.
Well, I mean, I was at the animation studio, so we had many departments. I mean, we were like 800, so I didn't know all of them.
Yeah, only 700 of them.
Yeah, only 700. Yeah. So, but I loved the animation studio. I mean, we were all like pretty young. I think that's one thing. So it was a lot of fun. But obviously, the company, it wasn't working. Like, it grew really...
It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it was huge.
It was huge. No, I mean, I think it's half smaller. I think they're like 400 now, which is also quite many.
That's very big.
For Finland, especially. Like.
Yeah. That's like Nokia or something of I don't know inside. Well, Nokia not anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Or Microsoft actually now. Well, there's still
Microsoft
Nokia. They're doing some part of that. But yes, so yeah, actually, I before we had the layoffs and everything. That's really awful. If you work somewhere and you have layoffs, it's horrible. Even though I had a fixed term contract, so I wasn't like in danger. But
still.
It's really horrible.
And it also sucks because the thing is, it becomes like this big family, really big for
Yeah,
your
we were
case,
so close. I mean,
yeah, everybody gets so close, and then
them.
you see, you know that you're not going to be together too long, and then you don't know what's
People
happening.
are suddenly like leaving because of course they have to plan. You know, I have to do something. They have families and
rent. You have to pay mortgages. Yeah, food. So it's a business, guys. Remember that. So it's.
But I mean, it was a great place, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But now, I mean, they were really talented, so of course they have new jobs now. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, one nice thing I would say from all of these studios closing and is that when they break apart, they create many new studios and startups with people with lots of experience and different views,
and then they make quite small ones, many small ones,
which is very interesting, and I like it because they're all trying new and different things, and then suddenly one of them rises up, and you're like, oh, that's a new thing, and then the same thing. So it's kind of a very interesting.
In Seriously is one of them with the best fiends and all that, which is doing great now. And I think they have like 45 people in their company. Suddenly there were like 5 at first.
Yeah, I get nervous of those. I'm like, if you're just only like, oh, we're 4 times as large or 5 times, it's a scary
they have
thing.
like millions of downloads, and I don't know what's how that will end up. But it's really great. I mean,
of course.
You were saying something.
Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm going home now.
Okay, next one. What is her dream game to make? Ooh. Well, I really like narrative games with stories. I actually haven't tried properly one of, like, you know, in Japan they have these, you know, storyline. You know, you choose where to go next.
Like graphic, not graphic novels.
Oh, yeah.
What are they called?
They are called. No, actually,
no, they're not graphic novels.
Novels something.
They're called
game novels.
Visual novel? No. I don't know.
Yeah, he's nodding.
Which one is it? Visual novel.
Visual novel. What?
But can you choose in those?
Yeah.
I could have sworn. Maybe it is. Something novels and electricity.
Right. Okay. But anyways, because actually in Media Lab we had one, what is it, interactive...
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, the books choose your own adventure books. I remember those.
Yeah, you could,
I hated those. It's like, do you open the door? Now you're dead. And you shouldn't have opened the door, and you're like, go back. Yeah. It was like Dark Souls of books at that time. The Choose Your Own Adventures were very ruthless books. So, but sorry.
But some like with a cool story and cool characters, but really like having the narrative as like the main focus. Yeah. I really like that, you know. And of course it should be colorful. Okay. Because like I'm really colorful, like. Yeah. But maybe with like animal characters. Okay. So in Media Lab, I was telling
Alice
we had
in Wonderland.
Oh, why not? Something crazy, like something crazy. But yeah, in Media Lab we had one course, and I did like a concept of a narrative, like a game. It was called Murder Mystery or something like that. So yeah, we could have this dark side, but still really colorful and funny. Maybe a bit like this Japanese weird vibes there.
Have you
like
played visual novel, also known as
Visual novel.
Yes.
That's how you pronounce it, you know? Visual novel.
Noboru. Oh my god. Is also known as a sound novel, is an interactive game featuring interactive game. That's an interesting term.
Are games interactive?
That's what I thought. Featuring mostly static graphics, most often used anime style art or occasionally live action stills and sometimes video footage. As the name might suggest, they resemble mixed media novels. Yeah. Interesting. Cool. But Media Lab, sorry. Yeah, you did that in Media Lab.
Murder Mystery.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe you can. Oh, and I was asking you, have you played the Telltale games?
I have. I think I tried. One of the zombie ones.
Yeah, the Walking Dead.
Yes.
Because it's interesting that you say it, because The Wolf Among Us is an interesting one that I'm wondering you might want to check out, because it basically is all of the fantasy characters from these old like Grimm thing. So
cool.
the big bad wolf and all of them, and Goldilocks and you know. And then what happens is they're living in the modern times, and the big bad wolf is a detective. And he's solving murders, like a murder mystery, yeah. And it's very, very interesting. And there's like creatures and animals. So like one of the characters is a pig, is like a talking pig.
Aww.
So it's a very, and it's kind of has this the grim tone.
Yeah,
so it has a little dark tone. So I have a
nice.
feeling it might be right up your alley. That you know you should check. And it's a visual kind of interactive novel. Yeah, I can't even pronounce that. But exactly, but I feel like that's, you should find out.
I will check it out. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
Next question.
How do you eat with no hands in the metro?
Very carefully.
I don't know.
Question built in chat, one word at a time.
Yeah.
That means multiple people created this question.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They just randomly put in words. I didn't know either. This is the first time I've seen it. Very good.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
How do you eat with no hands? I guess this is specifically for you.
Well, someone else feeds you.
Ah! Look at that solution. Very good.
I did it.
Yeah, very good.
Yes. Yeah. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of that. I was thinking like complex. Yeah. Very good. Sometimes the best answer is the most obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I was just thinking how I would do it.
That's, what are you guys doing? I don't know. So you're leaving Finland.
Yes. This Sunday.
Yeah. So we caught her exclusive interview right before she left. No, yeah, so why are you leaving? You don't like it here anymore? It was the weather, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible right now.
How long were you in
dark.
Finland? Your whole life?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
is this your first, like, I'm leaving episode, or?
Well, I guess...
Like, I mean, you know, not for...
Well,
who knows?
This is the longest time I will leave for. Okay. So I went to Japan on an exchange. That was 4 months.
Yeah.
Then I went to Shanghai to work for Rovio for 1 summer.
Okay.
That was 3 months. So they're kind of like short periods that you don't need to... it's just 3 months. You don't need to plan too much.
Yeah.
But now it's like 1 year. Like, you know, I have to pay taxes there and stuff. I mean, I'm moving to Paris, by the way. You didn't mention that yet. Paris.
Yeah.
In France. La France.
Yeah.
So it's for Ubisoft. So I'm in the Ubisoft graduate program. Some people might know about it. Like a few.
But explain it.
So it's like Ubisoft wants to give like entry-level positions, which there's none of them in the game industry. Like if you especially like production, like no way.
It's hard.
It's so hard, and so I was doing animation productions before, and then I want to get into game production, and it was just like the perfect thing. So it's like if you get into the program, you're 1 year in your home country studio, if you have a studio. So Redlynx is one of the Ubisoft studios. So and it was part of the program. I don't think all of the studios are part of it. I guess they have some kind of course they need to have a need, or need to have time to coach you, because once you get in, they of course you have a mentor and stuff like this.
That's great.
That's great. So you and it's all about like sharing knowledge and trying to get you know to be the best producer ever. Of course.
That's amazing. Now we have the best producer ever on our show. First, you've heard it here first. Yes.
It's one of my first years. So yeah, first year is in your home country. Yeah. Then the second year is at another studio, and that's the interesting part, I think. And that's why I wanted to go there, because I wanted to, you know, get away from here.
Okay.
No, I always wanted to go somewhere else for a while to work for a bit longer period.
That's great.
And yeah, I'm going to Paris.
So
to HQ.
What's the most exciting thing about you going there, and what's the least the thing that scares you the most by going there?
Oh, well, the most exciting thing, I mean, it's a big city. I mean, Finland is really tiny. And Helsinki is really tiny. I mean, after a while,
you realize it after a while. When I first moved here, I'm like, I'm gonna get lost. I'll die in the streets. No one will find my body. But after a while, I was like, oh my god, I've just walked half the city in an hour. Like it's so small. You're like, oh, this street connects here. What the hell? This is nothing. Yeah.
And it's really scary. Like sometimes, on a Sunday, the main street is like empty. I'm like, where is everyone? This is scary. Like I want people. Around me, I feel safe when there's people, and there's not enough people here. Okay. So that Paris, I'm really excited for that because there's, it's everyone goes there at some point, and there's all this. Everyone has been there. It's a big city, and somehow it's like connected. It's one of the key points in Europe.
Like a hub.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hub, and everything that's happening there, and I don't know. And I love art, so of course, and comics. It's a huge comics country.
Actually, animation.
Of course.
The animation is huge, and I would say some of the best animations that I've seen are coming from there. It just blows your mind.
And they
how
have a great animation school as well. What is it called? Gobelin?
Yeah, something like that. But I took in school in Taik or Aalto, and it was just like animation, like 2D and 3D animation course. And all the stuff we were watching that was coming from that area, I was just like, oh my god, these guys are amazing.
I mean, they're all from that school. They all get hired to Pixar and all these.
Exactly, it's a different league of animators.
It's great. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And
so the not excited part.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, at first, to get used to everything. Yeah. Like I was just talking a couple of days ago with my friends about the basic stuff, like going grocery shopping, like the basic things that you do, like automatically, just like whatever.
Yeah, you don't think.
Now you have to use lots of energy to that, and I have to get a phone number and all the paperwork, and I heard that like the tax stuff is also you have to fill this form. I mean, it's not like end of the world, but it's like the extra stuff.
And it's all in French, I bet.
It's all in French, so that's also like to get there. I mean, I have been studying French, and I'm interested in it. I'm not like I don't wanna try. So of course it helps that you're motivated to learn it. Yeah. But the beginning will be really like tough. It's always the beginning. I think also when I went to Japan, the beginning, like the mistake I made, like my first night, I checked on Facebook what all my friends were doing. I was like, I'm not there anymore. I'm here alone. And you don't know that many people. You don't have that group. Yet. So. Yeah.
But you'll find it.
I mean, it after a while it's fine. But the first weeks are like.
Yeah, and the healthcare system there is very good.
It's good, and they have lots of holidays, more than here.
Exactly. So if you're gonna get hurt. That's the place to do it, and you have lots of time off.
Yes. So. They have, I mean, usually people say that in Finland we have a lot of holidays, like the long summer holiday.
There is.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, take off 10 years from work, you'll be fine. It'll heal. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the food culture. I'm really like. I'm gonna gain a lot of weight, I think, but I'm not totally. And the wine, oh my god. And all the pastries.
Cheeses.
And cheese. I mean, food overall. I'm really happy. I mean, food makes me happy. So it's a wonderful place to go to.
Yeah, definitely. Are there any more questions? I can't read it. It's too small.
It's really tiny. I know you talked about LinkedIn for someone new how to get into the business, but could you give some insight in what you people look for in level designers?
You people.
Ooh, us people. Yeah, I think when I was at Media Lab, I actually went to the game club to talk about, Ubisoft and stuff. And there was one designer. He was asking like, how do I get in design position? And I was like, ooh, that's tough because I don't really know. But
was it level design or regular design?
Regular, but then I think one thing that you can do, if it's for example, if you wanna come to Redlynx, you can take something, for example, in a game and kind of improve it. Like actually, I would do this for you, and you know, have something concrete to show.
Yeah.
And kind of like see that you really wanna. I did all this work just for you guys.
Exactly.
And the thing is that the best thing is to, instead of like just send the same application to all of the studios, that's always a bad idea. Because they will notice that, okay, this is just something really generic and boring.
Yeah.
And
you have to really want to work at that.
Yes.
At that place, you don't want to work like, just anybody get me. Yeah, because they all talk with each other.
They do. So. And of course, there's different events where usually companies go there and talk. You know, again, be noticed like.
Exactly.
And of course, you have to have something to show. So you know, have examples of games you have made. At school or with your friends, and there's all these events. What's the, you know, make a game in one weekend? What is it called? Not a hackathon, but game jams. Go to game jams. There are tons of them. You'll get material from there, and you'll see, you know, how you work in a team as well. You have something to tell them about.
It's very important.
Yeah.
I think game jams are excellent. Also, one thing, remember, don't forget, especially for designers. Board games, like it doesn't mean it has to be digital. You can make card games, board games, these type of paper.
Yeah, prototypes really quickly.
And they're because they show you that, hey, I know how to build systems and how they work and things like that. So I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And for the level design, if you go to a game jam, you just go to the people and be like, hey, I want to be the level designer for it.
You can decide it already from the beginning. Like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, and that's it. So that's definitely, and then you can build up a portfolio that way of just levels.
Yes.
But definitely concentrating on the place. Like, for example, if you want to work on narrative games, on storylines, maybe you want to work in Remedy here or something. They're really big with the story stuff.
Yes.
So you really have to know why. Like, if you're in a job interview, they're going to want to know, why do you want to work here and not in some other place? So you have to really be passionate about, I want to work here not just because it's any job, it's because I'm specifically wanting this job.
Exactly.
So, and they'll see that when you're in the interview. So.
And you can also like contact other, you know, be brave, like ask other level designers, like, hey guys, can you, and even like one marketing guy from work, he was like, oh, I'm mentoring this student. I'm like, wow, that's great. Like how, like mentoring, we need more of that, because then you'll know.
Exactly.
Then you'll get that support and someone who knows what they're actually looking for, and I think it's just everyone wins that way. The game companies, they don't get like.
Yeah, they get better people.
Exactly,
if they don't know about you, they can't hire you.
Yeah.
So, and don't be scared. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the worst thing they're gonna do? Like,
that's a good question always to ask yourself. What is the worst thing that could happen?
They might say no.
Yeah, they might say no.
Sorry, I'm really busy.
Yeah.
They're not going to like punch you in the face. Well, maybe if they're drunk or something. If they're drunk, first check if drunk. Second, check if angry. Then decide if
might happen in Finland.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Never know.
But yeah, don't be scared, because what you actually end up doing is hurting yourself, because you know, and you might hurt them because you might be somebody amazing, and you're taking that opportunity from them away.
Exactly.
So,
Oh yeah, I think it's just, you know, to be brave. I mean, it's really hard. I remember as an artist, it was really hard to kind of do that. But then I think I always like took a step back and like try to look at my stuff from an objective point of view, and just see like, well, what should an artist do in this situation, and so on. And it's of course you take it personally because it's your stuff, something that you created, but still maybe ask someone else to help you. Also like, and have this friend that kind of pushes you.
Exactly. I think that's the best thing, is network, have friends that are pushing you, definitely. Be honest. I would say, like, be honest with yourself too. I would say a lot of artists I met when I was in school, I went to like a traditional art school. I didn't go for games, just regular art. Like, I have a studio arts degree, so painting, sculpting, printmaking, these type of things. Photography, which is very useful too, by the way. It still helps me.
Definitely.
But I came across a lot of students that were kind of, they were very stuck in the way that they did stuff, and they never wanted to explore outside of it. And they had this kind of like, they had their strengths, and they would only work on their strengths and never work on anything like their weaknesses or something. So they would just kept getting more and more strong in that same thing. It's kind of like they can't polish that anymore. It's polished. Stop. So, and they would just remain stuck because, like, people would be like, yeah, that's nice, but can you do these or this or something? So they don't broaden themselves, and I think that hurts them a lot. So it's like if you're an artist and you're really good at doing one specific thing, but you can't do anything else, you really kind of limit yourself, I would say, from a business point of view, if someone wants to hire you, because you might... It's not a guarantee that that specific thing is what they want from you. They might want something totally different. Oh, now you don't draw characters. Now it's all about environments or whatever. So you have to try to be versatile, as versatile as you can.
Yeah, because game companies they have different projects with different styles. You know, they want to try something else.
Exactly.
Situations might change a lot. Maybe the game style, you know, when you're in concepting stage, it might
can change dramatically.
So it's always good to be really flexible and to be able to adapt to the team, because it's not about you in a team.
No,
anywhere.
it's not.
Like,
no.
And it might be really hard for at school. You notice that someone like this, I want to do this, and this is what I do.
Yeah, that's great. Not in the working world.
It doesn't work that way. It's only. I don't know. I can see a situation. Well, I guess if you start your own company.
Yeah. But in the working world, no way. I can't even see that.
No.
That is another thing, though. Now that popped in my mind was starting your own company. If you're trying to get your feet wet, sometimes you might be able to find some startups. Like they're just new.
Yeah.
Not everybody is. I'm not saying like a startup of 30-year veterans that are doing a startup. That is different. But a startup that everybody's new and fresh, and they're like, and maybe your art might not be good enough to get into like Rovio or whoever, but for the startup, they're like, yeah, this is amazing. This is what we need for right now. And you get your feet wet and get better and work over time. Exactly. As long as you keep working at it, not just doing the same thing. Yeah. So that's another thing I would recommend for people, I think.
That's good.
Yeah. What else? How are we on our time? 8 o'clock.
Oh,
we're okay.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so we still have some time. So tell me one thing. Okay, tell me one thing about yourself that. Well, I don't want to say that nobody knows, but yes, I am a. Male lifter. Yes, I lift weights in the circus. No, but some other talents or things that you have that isn't related to any of these things. What else do you do?
Ooh, talent, huh?
Yeah. Or thing. I mean, well,
or something. Oh.
Just anything. But like, what other things do you like? But a lot of the times we ask. Like, we found out one of our interviewers, they played guitar and sang, and we had no idea. And then he showed us the video.
I would like to do that.
Oh, that's fine. You can.
No.
but and then another one. He was doing carpentry, and he was doing making his own like mobile arcade / house thing.
Cool.
So.
Oh man, what's my thing? I went to music school, but...
Okay, so there you go. So what did you do?
Oh yeah, I did. Wow, I haven't done it in a while. I think I should get back to it. But singing in a choir.
Okay. So
I really like that, and I always in school, when still in high school and all those things, you sang. You had the like chorus. Spring. What do you call it? Like
concert or no?
When everyone went to the summer holidays, like the last day. Well, you haven't studied here. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, in US they don't allow us to leave. We just have to keep going to school till we die. Yeah.
So yeah, we had this like spring song, like summer is coming, kind of. Okay. And when you graduate, there's songs, and I really like to sing like songs in groups.
Okay.
So I should continue with that. Okay. That's something I did, but then I didn't like to do it anymore. When I was so tiny, and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And then my mom was like, okay. Like, she didn't care. I was the fourth child, so she was like, she's okay.
Whatever, we've messed up on the three. Just stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that when you're the fourth child. Okay. I have plans to go to a game dev university here in Sweden, and I'm also kind of curious regarding how much an actual study is valued. Like, is it mainly your previous work, or does an actual education in this subject weigh more? Ooh, this is a good question. And this is also something I think I discussed in my thesis.
Okay, read her thesis. No, I'm just kidding.
You could, well,
yeah.
Read my thesis.
Yeah.
It's good. I got a 4 out of 5, so it's not perfect, but it's quite good. It's quite good. They liked it. It's not like when you go to school. It's not like, okay, it's not the end result. I got the papers. It's more about the process. Like what happens there. You have all the. You get tons of connection. All the other students, you know, after a couple of years, they'll be at all these companies. And you should know them already now. Like, you should get to know them and their skills and what you know, plan the future a bit. It's not the papers, it's not the degree that matters. It's what you do in school. Some universities, for example, also they have this startup life. It's a great program. They send you to Silicon Valley. Well, not just like that. You have to apply and all this. But that's how I got to Shanghai. Right. And I got to step in Rovio in Shanghai. That's something that people don't really have on their CV. Like, I went to Shanghai to work with Rovio. Like, it's always something, you know, that makes me stand out a little bit. And it's things that you should do in university when you still got time. And and I mean, you're in university, you're kind of free. It's so nice, and you decide, you know, what to do and how you grow up and so on. And
you can fail.
You can fail, yes. You can experiment. That's the best thing. You can just like do stuff, and it didn't work. Whatever. Let's do this.
It doesn't matter. It didn't cost millions of dollars or anything.
No, and and you have all these equipments. I mean, we had also a motion capture studio in Aalto. I was like, what? And those things are expensive, and I was so happy I took that course, because it's like, I don't know how many thousands.
You know that's the largest motion capture facility, I think, in the Nordic countries.
Really? But it's huge. I mean, all the cameras, you're like...
Cameras, the green screens, all this. I actually heard, I don't know, am I allowed to even say that, but I remember when Björn and I were going to get information about finishing our thesis, that it was used like a seal had come and did like some video or something. Like, came for a day, did a thing, went back. It's like, it's used by...
Anyone can, outsiders can come and use it.
Exactly. And the cameras, basically, because they spent all this money on a thing, they got these cameras, and basically they said it's on par with like what they made the first Avatar movie with. So it's like very high-end stuff that's there. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
So take advantage of it.
Exactly. And it's like, he's asking like how much is value. I mean, it's of course, when you look at a CV, like if you don't have anything and you're not really talented, like at least it's something. It's like a base that you have. So they know that, okay, you're at some level, you went to this university. Maybe it depends also on the university. I think in the States it's totally different. If you
went to Harvard or something, then okay, you went to Harvard, But most of the time I would say, your degree is important in the States, but they want to see what you, even in the US, they want to see what did you do, like where did you work from there.
Yes, and of course, if you have a degree, you have to have something to show as well, or something to tell, like something. So it's a combination of that. But I think school overall is really, I mean, it's a good opportunity to just, you know, kind of find yourself. Maybe you notice you don't like this thing after all, or something like that.
Yeah, that's very true. And this is the time to do it.
Yeah, this is time to experiment and go on an exchange. That like you learn so much when you move to another country and do something there. And that's also a way to, because again, for Metropolia, when we graduated, we all have kind of the same works in our portfolio, but then me and my friend, we were the only one who went to Japan or for an exchange.
Exactly.
And we got a bit other things for and we were also the ones who got the internship for Anima Vitae right away.
That's great.
Even though everyone applied.
So I would say that's an excellent thing, is find a way to differentiate yourself from everybody else, because when I was those student loans I was talking about. That was I was taking the Art Institute, this game design and art degree something, and I went to a big kind of convention where they had all these people from the games industry there, and they were in a panel, and they were all talking about this, like getting into the industry and whatever, and none of them talked about education. So I was like, I have a question. None of you have talked about education, and I'm going to school. And they're like, we don't give a crap about your degree, like the person there. They're like, the one lady who was like a headhunter or whatever, she's like, I have a stack like 100 high of people from your school, and you're all like a cookie cutter. You're all the same person.
Exactly,
and I don't care. And she's like, you need to go. I don't give a crap about that. I give a crap that what is different about your portfolio, what makes you different and sets you apart.
Yes.
So, and portfolio doesn't have to be, I mean, your portfolio of where you worked even is a thing. Oh, they lived in, you know, Nepal and did this thing, and it's a totally different thing than everybody else. And that's why you'll stand out.
Exactly, yeah.
So. And since you live in Sweden, you can do this much easier. So take advantage of it.
Yeah. I think you should. And you know, you can always apply, go there, and if you get a job, that's great. But then you have, I mean, you have some place to go to and, you know, share the knowledge with, get some feedback and have that community.
Exactly.
You need that. You need to be around a bit same-minded people. I think that's always good. Yeah. And if you don't have any other place to go to, then go to school. But don't rely on that the degree will get you a job.
No,
never do that
at all.
But just see it as an opportunity to grow yourself and your skills.
Yeah, definitely. And make friends.
Yeah, friends. That's good too.
That's too. You don't have to use everybody for a job. Like, you might make friends too. And like, you never know. I met Björn. He's not my friend. He's an asshole. But we met in school, and it was like, we hit it off like the first damn day. It's like, oh yes, there's that guy, and he's like, oh, there's a loud. He's going like this. Oh, there's a loudmouth American. Actually, I felt very uncomfortable. Well, I didn't feel uncomfortable. I just blurted out. But I felt bad because I told everybody when I was in my class, I was the only one out of our class, like 30 some students, 35. I was the only one talking and the only one speaking out loud and asking questions, and I'm sitting up front, and everyone else is like, and I felt so bad, and I was like, am I like annoying? Like, I always go and ask people, like, am I too loud or annoying, whatever, and they're like, no, it's fine, because you're asking the same questions that most of us want to ask, but we just don't want to ask them. But because we're finished, we don't want to say those.
Of course not.
So, but you make really good friends, or maybe you don't. Maybe you make enemies. Who knows? But at least you have an opportunity to, you know.
Exactly.
You never know. So take advantage of it, especially if you live in Sweden. Maybe if you live in other places where the education is very expensive and you can't afford it, then look at trying to get experience. And I mean, there's local clubs and organizations, game jams. Try to do whatever you can for free first and build a network that way. I promise you'll be able to find like-minded people. And then if you see that you really need to and you can afford it, I'm all about you get a degree. It will help you. Especially one thing that that you mentioned, actually hinted at earlier, was that go to school to find out if that's actually what you want. Because what might happen is that you might realize that's not what you want, and you might actually end up getting a degree in something else. And you have something, I would say, especially in the US, you have something to fall back on. So let's say you never do those things, and you're like, well, now I have no degree, and I've spent 10 years doing this, and now I can't find a job doing anything.
That's a good point.
That's a safety net for you to do something. So that's another way to look at it, I would say.
Yeah, and once you got that degree, don't let it like define you too much.
Exactly.
Because for example, when we went with Redlynx to some events, some kind of like recruiting events, and then, you know, they're interested in the production line that we have in the graduate program, and they come like, okay, so what's your degree? And these business students come and ask me, and I'm like, Master of Arts. And they're like, what? Okay. And they don't really get this, like, well, they don't see the connection there. And I'm like, well, you know, it's not about that one title that you have. It's more about what you do and what you want to do.
Exactly. Don't let your degrees define you in any way. No. I have crazy degrees that have nothing to do. I have engineering degrees, computer engineering, art degree, new media, this game design, production thing. So it's like they're all over this place. I just take whatever I learned from there and here. And it's just, but I don't say like, I'm an engineer and I have to think like an engineer. Or I'm an artist and I have to be in this way. Like, it doesn't matter.
Like in that box.
No,
like
don't box yourself in. Be flexible. Be like water.
Yes. Be like water.
Yes.
And don't let people like box you as well. Like
no,
why are you doing that? Well,
exactly. Don't actually recently I've been having some conversations with people because they ask me it's a normal thing that when you meet people, they always ask, so what do you do?
Yeah.
And then when I try to explain to them, like, yeah, I'm a designer, but I do this, like, I actually don't say anything now. I say, I do everything. And it's much easier. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm a designer, but I do everything that you want me to do. Do you want me to get coffee for you? I got coffee. Oh, I got to clean the toilet? Oh, I got to clean it. Oh, I got to do this design visual? Okay. Oh, I got to create a service? Okay, I do it.
How handy.
Oh, use this software that you have no idea how to use? Okay, I'm going to go learn it. So it's kind of just, you have to do what you need to do to get the job done.
Yes.
So, and that of course confuses the hell out of people because how can you do everything?
People like to categorize people.
Yeah, they like to push you in and I'm just like, no, I do everything that I want and need to do. I decide.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. Instead of saying, I'm a 2D artist, only team, and then I moved to Overwatch and joined a medium tier. We were part of a few tournaments. As the level we were playing on, we had to really take as much advantage of the map as you possibly could. Sometimes we spent more time studying the map layout than combinations due to the advantage gained. Is this something that is valued as well as I can, to some extent, put myself in a medium core type of player's position? Is this a question for her or for me?
Is this like when you apply for a job, like something you would... Are you asking like, should he put this on his CV or what? It's just an extra thing. It's not like, this is the thing I do and that's why you should hire me. It's really cool. I mean, it's something that you could, a way of standing out of the crowd. It really depends on the position as well.
I would say this, like I'm looking at this from a design view.
Maybe design, yeah.
And maybe what you could say is that you're very good at understanding like level or design layout or like the implications of certain things happening. Like if this is this way, this thing happens. So say you're very good at breaking things down and evaluating them. So if I was to apply for a job, maybe a design position, I don't know exactly what position this would be for. But unless you're applying for an esports team, then maybe that's very important. I would say try to, well, the word is extrapolate, but generic level. Oh, I'm very good at analyzing systems or visual or understanding how flows work or understanding how things work in relation to each other. So something like this, visual problem solving.
Yeah, and think like how do they look at this? Like what do the interviewer get out of this?
Exactly.
Like it totally depends on the question also they ask, and it's
like if you want to go work for an esports team playing a Valve game and they're very specific to these things, then you could specifically say this exact thing. But I would say if it's just a basic design company. One thing I would say that is if the company that you work for mainly makes this well, it's not a MOBA. What would you... Well, basically Dota or League of Legends type games, then maybe this specifically might help you. If that's the only type of games they're going to be making, you can be like, hey, I have all this experience playing. I have an understanding how to do this. Maybe in that sense, if they hired you, you might be very good at solving these problems.
Definitely.
But it's very
It's quite specific, So, and it's important not to, get too much tied into this and try to push this to the employer. Like there's so much more into it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe like working in a team as well, you know.
Yeah, that's an excellent thing. That's a very excellent point.
And is he leading this team? Like that's also
I don't know.
Like who's their leader as well, or kind of like getting it all together and getting everyone to work together.
Yeah. That's more important. I would say that I would hire someone that works in it. Like let's say if I have 2 candidates, because I've been I was the interviewer of many people, and if I have 2 candidates and one is like, you know, a super genius and incredible, but they have to work in a closet and they can't communicate with anyone. And then you have someone that's okay, but they have a lot of potential. They want to work really hard, but they work very well in a team. I'm going to pick the person that works well in a team because it's all about the team. It's not individuals anymore. The individuals you can hire them temporarily to look at one very specific problem for you, and that's it.
Like a mission.
Exactly. But this is more like, especially in game development, it's all about team working together, being able to, you know, function as a whole. And you have to be able to give and take, and, you know, be flexible. And that's very important. I would say even sometimes that's even above your skill level. Like sometimes if you're just an incredible team player and you're motivated, you would be amazed how many jobs you get even if you're not super qualified in the beginning.
I think it's super important. I would say, like, of course it depends on the workplace as well. Do they usually hire only superstars that are super talented?
Then you're not getting into those anyway. So,
but usually, if it's a good team with a good team spirit, it can grow to something really amazing instead of having like these superstars just like almost competing to each other. I think it's really competitive in that case.
I don't like that.
No, I think there's so many studies and, you know, TED Talks about this. Like they did this with mice. What is with chickens? I don't know. Anyhow, they or something. How did they do this?
Chicken mice.
I don't know how did they test it, but anyhow, they came to the conclusion that if you work well as a team, you it lives longer, so to say. So the superstar mice, I can't remember, was it really mice? But they died. Even when they put them together.
They couldn't work together.
They were just good on their own in something, but not as a team. And you will notice that, I mean, really quickly.
It falls apart.
Especially with games. I mean, you're working so closely.
You're basically married to those people. It's like a second family or marriage.
You spend so much time.
Yeah. You might spend a lot of time. You might spend 16 hours in a day with them if you're like under very extreme conditions. And you have to be able to, you can't just be fighting with those people all day. You'll be miserable.
No, and they don't want to it becomes a problem then for the company.
It'll destroy the company.
And then, you know, how about the next job? Would they like to...
If they I know in the US there's a lot of they call the previous place.
They do that here too.
Okay. So if you poison the well or water or something, it's not good for you.
Usually
the bridges are burned.
Would you hire him or her back?
Yeah.
And they should say yes.
Yeah. That's why I make sure everyone I work for, I destroy the company so when they call, there's no one that answers the phone, so they can't hire me. That's how I get my jobs.
You can do that as well. Good stuff. Good stuff.
But so singing in a choir.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Maybe because alone, as again teamwork, you know, together it sounds better.
Yeah.
In my case, alone. Of course, I do love karaoke. Yeah. In Japan. Oh my God, I love the karaoke rooms. Oh, that was the best. It was the best, and you can order foods and drinks.
Yeah.
Same in China.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
And you have all
in South Korea, I think it's big.
There too, man. I really like that. I like karaoke. Yeah.
Okay.
I do, and I don't. Here it's like people are kind of scared. Well, then they get drunk and then they sing.
I was gonna say yes.
But I don't need to have anything. I just go there and sing.
Great.
It's a lot of fun. So singing is something like I need to get that back. You know, I know I can do it, and I know I got skills.
What kind of song? What, Finnish songs or English?
Nah, English or Swedish. So Swedish is my mother tongue.
Okay. Are you Swedish speaking, Finn?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Like Björn.
Like Björn.
Yes.
Yes, I think I actually knew that, but then we still spoke Finnish, and then it's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. I'm only friends with Swedish-speaking Finns. We don't allow Finnish people here.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. No, actually, Veli-Pekka was he's very Finnish.
That's a really Finnish name as well. Veli-Pekka.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. But that is one thing I have noticed is that when I moved here, maybe it's just was a little easier. A lot of my friends that I met that I didn't know, I find out soon after that that I connect with much quicker has been the Swedish-speaking Finns. Maybe they're a little bit more open, so they just connect easier.
Yeah, if you think about a typical Swedish Finn, they're not like quiet.
Yeah,
that's not the thing. They're a bit louder than the Finnish ones, and I don't know. Maybe we live on the coast. We live by the coast.
So there's more oxygen there? Or
I guess, or no, there's like boats coming and people we need to interact. So you can escape?
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
we need to, communicate. We need to sell stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. That's just but maybe because you're a smaller community, it's a bit different. You have to get noticed because we're just, I think it's 5% of Finnish population is Swedish speaking.
I think it's 5
6
or 7. 5. Yeah, he keeps track daily.
Yeah,
there's a
like
little, one was hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Yes, off by 1. Yes.
But yeah. But
I guess that's why.
Maybe also the bilingual thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easier to, we don't have an issue speaking English really. It comes easier, I would say, when we had the Swedish there.
Yeah.
And you always have to switch between 2 languages all the time. So
so it's natural.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why, and I think then maybe being kind of growing up in America, being the loud, obnoxious guy, it's much easier. Oh, there's other people talking. Let me just go there.
I'll join them.
So I go join the talkers. So it's a little easier to connect. Maybe that might be it. I have lots of Finnish friends though.
Yeah. There's lots of loud Finnish people too. Well.
Yeah.
But if you would compare, I would say Swedish Finns would be more.
It's a little easier.
Yeah, more social maybe.
Maybe that's the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't mean that there aren't nice Finnish people. I have very nice Finnish friends, but they're all gonna hate me now. I never talk to you again. Well, you're not talking to me now, so it's already the same. But
it's done already. Yeah. But in Metropolia, I was the only Swedish Finnish in my group, and all the ones were Finnish. And I saw I saw a difference. I was the loudest one again, and the one who wanted, let's have a party. No one came, but so no one from my course. Not like that.
I invited everybody.
No, but then from this one course above, somehow that group worked much better. I think it was just my group wasn't I don't know, they weren't interested in talking or I don't know, doing stuff with other people. So then the other one from the previous course, they came.
Okay, well that's
and then
great.
maybe a couple from mine, but now.
Yeah, they got influenced slowly. Peer pressure.
They were like, okay. Yeah, but I felt really
an outsider.
Yeah.
Well, you're the 5%.
I am the 5%.
And I'm the 0.00001%. But Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out because I want to get my citizenship and I keep putting it off. And there's always that thing of because you have to have the language.
You have to do the test.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not basic. It's it's a pretty. I think it's level 3 reading, writing, comprehension, speaking.
Speaking too.
Yeah. So and I think you have to do well in 2 out of 3 of those.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it works, and I'm so torn because I had to study Finnish for university anyway, but it's kind of but the Swedish, anytime I'm lost or there's a problem, I immediately look for the Swedish. Passengers can't go on here. Cool, because it reminds me so much of the English and just because the English got influenced, I guess, from German and these. So there's a lot of borrowed things from Swedish. Yeah. So I'm just
makes more sense.
It's very simple. Yeah. I understand everything, and but then I keep thinking okay, will I really be able to use it here, or will it just become another English for me? Like, do I just want the citizenship and I'm not going to learn Finnish, or I'll learn Finnish in 30 years? Or should I just force myself and learn the Finnish so that I'll actually use it here because I'm in the country? Because I go in a conversation like Igda.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's going to happen? The Finnish people are like, Finnish, 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 Finnish. Oh, American, everyone changed to English.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I would feel more kind of accepted, maybe. Unless I go hang out with the Swedish-speaking Finns. So I have to find all of you.
You know what they call us? Bättre folk?
Bättre folk.
Better people.
Better people, yes. I learned that during summer. Yes, exactly.
So, you know.
Exactly. So I got to hang out with the better people.
We accept everyone.
Yeah. So that's what I need to do. But that might be the reason. I want to be one of you guys. So, yeah. But let's see what I choose.
Okay, when I create a new map or level for World of Warcraft, I've been trying to approach different and new kind of ways of making them. Starting from different points to see how I can get the best result or smoothest way of working. Could you say this is a good thing to practice, just as an example? I've also tried out limiting my resources as well as using different reference photos from other games.
Wow.
Whoa.
I have to read that again because that's really...
What have you done now?
Create a new map level in World of Warcraft. Sorry for when I create a new map level for whatever, I've been trying to approach different and new ways. Okay, so you want to approach new ways of making things, new levels and maps.
Different ways, yeah.
From different, and you started from different points to see how you can get. Okay, so it looks like you're
research in a way.
Research, and it's interesting because they're saying the way of working, so it's almost like a pipeline.
Exactly.
That you're talking about. Yeah, that's interesting. So basically, a new approach is to making level and maps and trying to find a new pipeline, and then you say, is that good? And you've tried out limiting my resources as well, limiting your resources, that's interesting, and using different reference photos from other games. Limiting your resources is very interesting. Well, I would just say it's interesting that when you do limit your resources, you find new things. Like if I was just talking traditionally when I was doing painting, I was very obsessed with like hyper detail when I was painting. And then my teacher was like, hey, go get a damn camera and take a picture because no one gives a shit. You're a photographer then. Okay. She's like, if you're a painter, it's got to look like you're painting. And then she gave me one huge brush like this thick. Yeah. And then she's like, you can use this brush, 2 colors, and you have 45 minutes to do that portrait. And then and you have to do like 15 of them. Oh, and I'm just like... You know, and I limited, but what was really good is then, like, my art style totally changed, and it was very expressive and energy, and you could see brush strokes. So I do think, like, limiting your resources in that sense is very interesting.
That's why game jams work, because it's only the weekend, it's 2 days. There's a limit, and it's a good way to also explain this.
Yeah, we should let Nelly go as well. But maybe you can answer too. I don't...
So I guess he means when he would apply for a job or something. I think it's quite good because it means you're really like putting yourself into like how we can make this. You just don't have like, okay, here's my stuff, but how you thought about like what's the idea behind it? Yeah. And maybe different outcomes. Because that's something you need to do, and the game company as well when you're prototyping or doing something. How can we make this work like nicely in this team? You have to, you know, as we were talking about adaptation, you have to always think differently suddenly and change things. Exactly. You can't have like, this is my way of working and this is how I do it. And it doesn't change. Yeah. Exactly. So this is actually really good now when I think about it more. It's really good.
So yes.
Yes.
Do that thing. But, okay, well, we've gotten the warning that we should release you. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully, we'll see you back in Finland in a year,
yes,
maybe.
That's the idea.
Yeah, or maybe Björn and I are super famous and we'll come and visit you.
Yeah, you do a world
Paris.
tour.
Yeah, we'll do a world tour and come and visit you, and maybe we can interview again in the future with.
Sure.
When you're doing something different.
Yeah, and I can tell you more.
Yeah.
When I'm back.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I would happy to come back.
Yeah, thank you.
It has been nice. A nice stream.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.